Hello everyone, myself Karan Thawani. I hope you all are fine and your all family members are also fine. Uh, I'm working as a senior embedded software engineer. So right now I am dealing with the embedded applications. So from the past few months, many of my friends were telling me that they are finding difficulties in searching out the articles related to embedded applications online. Means they were not able to find the useful articles related to the embedded applications online, so they suggested me to upload some videos, create some contents on the embedded applications. So finally I have spared some of my time to prepare this presentation and create this video on the serial communication protocol. So, especially in this video, I will more focus on the Modbus RTU protocols. So, all of those engineers who are working in the embedded applications in the serial communication protocols, for all those engineers, this video will be very useful to understand the Modbus RTU protocol. So let's start this session. So first of all, what is communication protocol? So there are two words in the communication protocol. First one is communication and the second one is protocol. So what is communication? So communication is nothing but exchanging information. So right now you are watching my video. So that means I am sending some information to you and you are receiving some information. So that is one kind of communication. So this is a half duplex communication. Half duplex means at any time only one user can send the data. So this is a type of communication. So and by any means if you are exchanging information, then that is called the communication. So now the second part is protocol. So what is protocol? Protocol means set of rules that defines how the information will be exchanged. Uh, so this protocol will be clear in the next slide. Then means why these protocols are needed. I will brief you more about this in the next slide. So why these protocols are required. So for example, suppose this is our system. In our system there are three microcontrollers, microcontroller 1, 2 and 3. I have programmed these three microcontrollers, means I have done the programming of these three microcontrollers, and for now assume that these microcontrollers are connected through a physical link. This is the physical link by which these three microcontrollers are connected, and suppose they are exchanging information through this physical link. Since I have programmed this three microcontroller, means I know if suppose I want to send something to microcontroller 2. So since I have the authority to program these microcontrollers, I can define my own rules. Suppose I send some message to microcontroller 2. So that message will be decoded by the microcontroller 2 or microcontroller 3. Since I have programmed these microcontrollers, then there is no problem in exchanging information within this system. But suppose there are another microcontrollers also, microcontroller 4 and 5. These controllers are not programmed by me. These are some external controllers, but by some means I want to exchange data between microcontroller 4, which is not programmed by me, and microcontroller 2, which is programmed by me. So suppose if I want to exchange data between these two microcontrollers, then how will it be possible? This is not possible because microcontroller 4 doesn't know how to send any data to microcontroller 1, 2 or 3. Microcontroller 2 also doesn't know what kind of data will be sent by microcontroller 4 and 5. That's why this protocol terms comes in picture. Protocol defines how information will be exchanged between devices. So there are certain rules which the devices have to follow. Means suppose I am using a protocol, there are number of communication protocols. Suppose I am using one of serial communication protocol, then there are certain rules. These rules will define how the information will be exchanged between the devices. Means suppose I am using a particular serial communication protocol, then my programming for that protocol will be same, and this microcontroller 4 which is programmed by some another person, that person will also follow those rules. So by that way exchange of information between any number of devices is possible. So this is where protocols comes into the picture. I hope you all are clear about this protocols, why protocols are required. If someone has any doubt, then you can write down it in the comment section. I will surely reply. Okay, so let's move to the another slide. So most widely used serial communication protocols: Modbus, SPI, I2C, CAN. It is the controller area network which is widely used in the automotive system. I2C, SPI and Modbus. These are the general communication protocols which are widely used in the embedded applications. Suppose you take any embedded application, you will find at least one of the communication protocol in that application. So as I have earlier said, in this video I will focus on the Modbus protocol. In the Modbus also there are number of protocols: Modbus RTU, Modbus ASCII, Modbus TCP. For this video, I will cover up this Modbus RTU protocol. If you are aware about the Modbus RTU protocol, then it will be very easy for you to understand the Modbus ASCII and Modbus TCP protocol. So now we will start Modbus RTU protocol. So important parameters related to the Modbus RTU protocols. There are two layers: software layer. Software layer means in the programming, what kind of measures we have to take. So this will be covered in the software layer. And hardware layer. Hardware layer means uh, how the physical link will be there between the devices which are communicating through Modbus protocol. So I will focus on the software layer in this video. So in the software layer, there are two important parameters. One is the data frame. So data frame defines the set of rules, means how the device will communicate. And baud rate. Baud rate defines the speed of the serial communication protocol. So I will cover both of these points in this video. So let's go further. So data frame, this is the most important part of this video, so I request you to listen carefully. So data frame defines the information exchange protocol, means how the information will be exchanged between the devices which are linked through the Modbus protocol. So this is the standard frame of the Modbus protocol. So for now, suppose this is the old system which I have discussed earlier. There are 5 microcontrollers in the systems, and suppose they are using Modbus RTU protocol to exchange the information. So what kind of data frame is there in the Modbus RTU protocol? So this is the general frame. First one is the slave ID, second byte is the function code, after then data, and after then CRC. I will cover up all these points in this video. So let's start with the first byte. First byte is the slave ID. So what is the slave ID? Slave ID is the ID of the device with which a device want to communicate. Suppose there are 5 devices in this system. Now 5 microcontrollers are there. Now suppose at a time two device will communicate. So slave, I suppose microcontroller 1 is the master. In the mode, it is very important to note that Modbus is a master slave communication. Master slave communication means there is one master and all other are slave in the network. That means master will only initiate the communication. Suppose we want to exchange the data between microcontroller 5 and microcontroller 1. So assume that these microcontroller 2, 3, 4, 5 are slave and microcontroller 1 is the master. So what microcontroller 1 will do that to exchange the information between microcontroller 1 and 5, master controller 1 will request the microcontroller 5. So how microcontroller 1 will request? So it will send the data. So that data frame's first byte will be slave ID. So to communicate with microcontroller 5, microcontroller 1 will send its first byte that as a 5. Suppose the slave ID of microcontroller 5 is 5. So and also one another point, Modbus is a request response communication. That means one device will request the data and other device will answer this request as a response. So since the slave ID is of 1 byte, that means 1 byte means uh, we can connect up to 255 device. So because in the 1 byte the maximum limit will be 255. With the 1 byte we can achieve maximum 255 decimal points. So uh, let's move to the next point. After that, the second byte of the Modbus data frame is the function code. Function code defines which kind of operation the master performs onto slave. Means which kind. Suppose this is a master and this is a slave device, a microcontroller or any other device which has a slave address 1. There is another device which has a slave address 2. So, in our system, what kind of possible operations are there? Either the master can write the data to slave 1 or slave 2. Either the master can read the data from the slave 1 or from the slave 2. So, generally, the data, so operation wise there can be two operation, either the write operation or the read operation, and on the data wise there can be two types. Suppose there is a one bit of data. Suppose there is any alarm. So those people who are from the embedded background and they know the programming side, so they must be aware about this. So suppose there is one bit of data. So data can be either of 1 bit or data can be of 16 bit. 16 bit means 2 byte. So so in the Modbus terminology, 1 bit of data is known as coil. Coil means it is of 1 bit of data, and the 16 bit of data is known as analog register. So according to read or write operation, the function code of the Modbus protocol is defined. So let's see which are the function codes of the Modbus protocol. So function codes of the Modbus protocols are 01, 05, 15, 02, 04, 03, 06 and 16. So most widely used function codes are 03 and 06. So today I will focus on these two function codes only. If you understand these two function code, then you can easily understand all other function codes also. So based on coil 1 bit data, there is read or write. So this section defines the function codes related to coils, that means 1 bit data, and based on analog register 16 bit read or write. So suppose the first most important function code is 03. 03 means analog output holding register read. That means suppose in any Modbus frame, suppose you find a function code 03, that means the master wants to read data from the slave device. And similarly, for the function code 06, 06 means write single register. If the master sends function code 06, that means master wants to write data to the slave device. So let's go into the details of these two function codes. So function code 03. Function code 03, as I have told earlier, that function code 03 is the read command code. That means if a master sends a function code 03, that means that master wants to read data from a slave device. So let's see how the frame, the rest of the frame of the function code 03 is. So first one is slave ID. Suppose master 1 wants to communicate with the slave device 1. That means master 1 wants to read data from the slave device 1. So how the master 1 will send the data frame? So let's discuss the whole frame. As I have told, first byte is slave ID. Since master 1 wants to communicate with slave device 1, it will send slave ID 1. So 01. 01 is means the master 1 wants to communicate with this device. If the master wants to communicate with device 2, then master will send as 02 as a slave ID. So first one is slave ID, which is 01, because master wants to communicate with slave device 1. Now the second, that is the function code, second byte. Here second byte is 03. That means master wants to read data from the slave device 1. Now the rest of the frame. Now the next two bytes are the address field. Address field means since I have told that master wants to read data of the slave device 1, but which data? There will be number of registers, number of variables in the slave device. So master wants to read which data? So there is a Modbus address which is mapped between master and slave, which I will discuss in the upcoming slide. What is the Modbus mapping? So there are number of registers in the slave device. Each register has address and master knows the address of the register. So if master wants to read data from the slave device, then master will send the address of that register. Suppose in our system there are three parameters. Uh, there are voltage, there is a current, and there is a temperature. Suppose voltage is at address 1000 and current is at address 1001, then temperature is at address 1002. So suppose a master wants to read the voltage, so it will send the address 0, address 1000. Address 1000 means slave will understand that master wants to read the data of the voltage. If the master sends the address 1002, 1002 is temperature, Then slave will understand that master wants to read the temperature, so slave will send the temperature data. So by this means, by this address, the variables are linked. So I hope the address part of the clear. So this address part is of 2 byte. Since one single byte is sent in the Modbus frame, since the address is of 2 bytes, first the higher byte of the address is sent and then the lower byte of the address is sent. Then the master will send the data length. Data length. So suppose in this example, master wants to read the data of the from the address 01. So this is the slave id 01, this is the function code 03, this is the address. In this example the address is 1. That means master wants to read the data of the slave device 1 from the address 1. Now this data length defines from the address 1 how many variables the master wants to read. So again this data length is of 2 bytes. 2 bytes means we can read 65535 number of variables. So this defines the number of variables the master wants to read. So for in this example, the master wants to read data from the address 1 and master wants to read 3 data. Means master wants to read 3 variables. So that means in the response slave will send the address at the data at the address 1 and then data at the address 02 and then data at the address 03. By this way slave will send 3 variables because in the data length master is requesting 3 variables from the address 01. And after that there is a CRC. I will explain the CRC in the later on slides. Slow what? So you must be think about when the master will send this frame to the uh, on the on this bus. This is the common bus, physical connection between master and slave, and this connection is common. So you must be wondering about, since the master has put data on this bus, then why this slave 1 will only answer to this request? Why the slave at 2, why this slave device 2 will not answer to this request? So this is where this slave id comes into the picture. The programming is done such that the first the slave id is matched. Suppose the slave id is not matched, then that device do not communicate, means that device do not respond to that request. So in our this example we are sending the slave id 1. So this device is intended to take the request which are having the slave id 01, and this device is intended to reply of the request which are having the slave id 02. Since this frame is having the slave id as 01, so this device will not take this request, and this device will not also respond to this request. So by that means we can communicate in this network, and master can take the data from the any device. Suppose there are 10 devices which are connected in this system, so master will send the device address, the slave address of the device, and that device will only respond to that request. So this is where the protocols comes into the picture. So this is why the protocols are required, so that we can communicate with any device. So now we will see what is the role of the address. Since I have shown in the earlier slide that there is an address field, so this how this address field is useful. So in the slave device, in the MCU memory of the slave device, there is one address and there is data on that address. Suppose address 0 has data 0, address 1 has the data 1, address 2 has the data 1, and meanwhile address n has the data n. So in the previous example, master was requesting the data at address 1. So that means master was requesting the data 1 variable. So this, as I have said, the variables can be anything: temperature, voltage, or current, anything related to your application. So in the previous example, the master was requesting data at address 1 and data field was 3, data length was 3. That means master was requesting data of address 1, address 2 and address 3. That means master was requesting the slave the data 1, data 2 and data 3. So now we will see how the slave will respond. As I have told earlier that it is a request and response communication. So master has requested the data. So how the slave will communicate back to the master? So let's see that. So since the slave has uh, taken the request, the slave one has taken the request from the master one. So now how the slave will respond. So now we will see that how the slave will respond. So the slave will send first its own slave address. So it will send 01, then it will send the function code was 03, and after then the slave will send the number of data bytes. Number of data bytes means how many bytes will be there in the upcoming frame. Since it is important to note that the master in the request, in the request the master is asking, master is specifying the data length. Master is not specifying the data bytes. It is very important point to note here that in the request frame, master was requesting the data length, means how many variables the master wants. The in the our example, master was asking for the data length 3. So since one variable is having 2 bytes, so 2 byte means the 3 variables will be of 3 into 2, 6 bytes. So the slave is in the response, the slave is specifying the number of bytes. It is not the data byte. It is not the data length. It is the number of bytes. So number of bytes will be equal to 2 times of the data length. So number of sorry, I have done the mistakes here. Here the number of data bytes will be there. Number of data bytes in response equal to 2 into data length. So here bytes will be there. Yes, number of data bytes. So sorry for the mistake. So slave will send 6. That means the slave is informing the master that there will be 6 data bytes in the upcoming frame. So how these 6 data bytes will be there? So first variables higher byte will be there. After then first variables lower byte will be there. After then second variables higher byte will be there. After then second variables lower byte will be there, and at last CRC will be there. So as I have told, the CRC part I will explain later on. So same as I have told that in this example, in the response, the slave is sending its slave ID 1. So again the slave 2 will not respond to this message, because this slave 2 will respond to the addresses which are corresponding to the address 2 only. So now we will see the function code 06. So the function code 06 is used when the master wants to write data into the slave device. Whenever the master wants to write any data, whenever the master wants to change any variable in the slave, then master is sending the function code as 06. So let's have a look into the data frame of the function code 06. So in this example, I am communicating with the slave device 2. So master is sending first the slave address. So since I want to communicate with the device 2, I want to change a data of the slave device 2, then the master will send the function code 02, sorry, slave id 02, and then the master will send the function code which is 06. After then master will send the address of the variable. I have told earlier that if a master wants to communicate with the slave device, then whole communication is based on the address only. So because on the address based communication, it becomes very easy to communicate between any device. So the master will send the address of the variable which the master wants to change. Suppose in this example, master is sending 000A 0A. So 000A means 10. So master wants to change the data of the variable which is located at address 10. After then, the master will send the data value, means the data which the master wants to change the variable value. So 000b, 0b means 11. That means this frame is specifying that master wants to change the data of the slave 2. Which data? Master wants to change the variable which is located at address 10, and master wants that this variable should be now 0b. 0b means 11. So whatever the variable will be at 0a location, suppose for example assume that a voltage is there at the location address location 10. Suppose the value of that voltage is 12. For now assume that the value of voltage is 12, but master wants to change that value to 11. So master is specifying the address is 10. At address 10 variable voltage is there in the slave, and master wants to change its value to 0b. 0b means 11. So after this request, the slave will change the voltage value to 11. So I hope that this is clear to you. So this is the request from the master. Again, in this example, slave 1 will not respond to this request because this request was specifying the slave id 2. So only slave device 2 will be respond to this request. So what will be the response from the slave device 2? So in the write operation, the slave echoes the whole frame which is sent from the master. Since this frame has nothing to do with read, the master only wants to write something, some data to the slave device. So the response is same as the request. So slave will say send the same response which was the request. So the slave will send the slave id to the function code again 000A, that means the address 10, and then the data which was 11, and then crc. So there is nothing important to note in the response part in the function code 06. It is same as the master request. So uh, now the important point, very important feature of the Modbus protocol, which is the CRC. CRC means cyclic redundancy check. So CRC is the very important feature in the Modbus protocol, and CRC is added in the Modbus communication protocol for the data integrity. So suppose a master is sending data on the on this bus. This is the communication bus. Suppose master is sending data. So how the slave will ensure that the slave has received the same data? Suppose there is a noise on the bus, so there may be chances that the slave device has uh, has received the wrong data due to the noise. So with the help of the CRC feature, the slave ensures that it has received the same data which was sent by the master. So how the CRC works? So with the very simple example, I will show you that how the CRC function works. So this is the uh, frame of the Modbus. 01 slave ID, 03 function code means master wants to read data, 01 0001 means master wants to read read the data from the slave 1 from the address 1, and master wants to read three variables means master wants to read 01 variable which is at location 01, then 02 and 03. So after then there are two bytes, this CRC bytes. So there is one standard polynomial there is there. This standard polynomial performs certain operations in this data, and then that result is added as a CRC in the Modbus frame. If I give you very simple example, suppose what CRC will look like is that it will do summation of all these bytes, means it will add 01 plus 03 plus 00 plus 01 plus 00 plus 03. It will add all these bytes, and result of this is add in as a CRC byte. So what slave will do? Slave will receive this whole frame, and what slave will do that it will do the same operation which is done by the master. Again slave will do the summation of all the bytes, 01 plus 03 plus 00 plus 01 plus 0. So for example, in this frame the summation is 1 plus 3 4, 4 plus 1 5, 5 plus 3 8. So in this example the 8 is the CRC, so master will send 0008. So the complete frame will be 0008 with the CRC. Now when the slave will receive the frame, it will perform the same operation which was performed by the master. Slave will again do the summation of all this. Slave will do 01 plus 03 plus 00 plus 01 plus 00 plus 03. So suppose if the slave received the same data which was sent by the master, so the summation will be same. So in the slave it will again 1 plus 3 4 plus 1 5 plus 3 8. So if the slave achieves the same summation which was sent by the master, so what slave device will do? It will compare its summation with the CRC of the master. If the slave, if the computation, if the result of the computation done by the slave matches with the CRC field, that means slave device has received the correct data. But suppose for example there was some noise and this byte was changed from 03 to 04. So assume that master has sent 010300, but assume that slave has received 0104. So in the slave the summation will be 01 plus 04, that means 5, 1 plus 4 5, 5 plus 1 6, 6 plus 3 9. So the result of the computation in the slave will be 09, but master has sent 08. This will not match. That means there is some noise in the network and the slave has not received the correct data from the master. So by this way we can inform the master that we can send the error frame to the master that slave has not received the correct data. So This is the importance of the CRC. In this example, I have just done the summation of the all the bytes, but in the real world this is not there. You can Google the CRC method in the Modbus protocol, so you will get one equation. So all these parameters are passed through this equation in the master, and same equation is used in the slave to check that slave has received the correct data or not. And after that, the last point of this video, that is the baud rate. Baud rate defines the number of bits sent in 1 second. So what baud rate indicates, that it indicates the speed of the communication. So commonly used baud rates are 4800. 4800 means you are sending 4800 bits in 1 second. 9600 means you are sending 9600 bits in 1 second. So what it means? Suppose for a system baud rate is n. That means that system can transfer n bits in 1 second. If baud rate is n, it can transfer n bits in 1 second. So what is the time required to send 1 bit? Since n bits are transferred in 1 second, that means time required to send 1 bit is 1 into 1 divided by n. That means 1 by n second. So suppose this is the frame, this is the data we are sending 0100 110010. Suppose this is the data frame, that means your 1 bit will be transferred in 1 by n second. So if you are using higher baud rates, that means you are transferring 1 bit in very less time. So by this way, higher the baud rate means you are sending more number of bits in 1 second and your communication speed is faster. So this is the end of this video. Thank you everyone for watching this video. If you are having any doubt, then you can surely comment your doubt in the comment section. I will surely reply to all the doubts. And if you want me to post any videos related to embedded application, any videos related to embedded systems, if you have any doubts related to embedded systems in the programming, in the hardware or in the software part, then you can post in the comment section. I will surely spare some of my time to prepare videos on that. So I hope you all like this video. So I hope you all are fine. Thank you all everyone for watching this video and sparing your time on this video. So take care everyone. Have a good day.